How can a devastating sporting defeat, a moment of national shame, be leveraged to become a powerful tool for national unity and a cornerstone of political strategy? How does a team, and by extension a nation, recover from a public humiliation so profound it threatens to break its spirit? This is a case study that examines the remarkable trajectory of the Jordanian national football team, Al Nashama. It is a story that begins with a critical, soul-crushing loss in 2013. We will analyze how this event, rather than marking a permanent end, served as the unlikely catalyst for a decade-long transformation. This methodical process culminated in a seismic shift in the team's sporting status and its very function as a symbol of national identity. This journey proves that a major failure, when met with vision and resilience, can be the necessary precursor to a truly calculated and historic success. The starting point for this analysis is November 13th, 2013. The setting is the Amman International Stadium, a cauldron of noise and hope, where Jordan's national team was competing in an intercontinental playoff for a position in the FIFA World Cup. The context was one of unprecedented national expectation. The entire country was swept up in a wave of football fever. Al Nashama, the chivalrous ones, were positioned just 2 games away from their first-ever qualification for football's greatest tournament. This wasn't just about sport, it was about national pride, about putting Jordan on the world map in a way it never had been before. However, standing in their way was a formidable obstacle: Uruguay. Here was a team ranked 64 places higher, a titan of world football with a rich history and a roster of globally recognized superstars. This was not just any team. This was a squad featuring Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani, 2 of the most lethal strikers in the world, playing at the very peak of their powers in Europe's elite leagues. The hope in the Amman Stadium was palpable, but it was soon to collide with a harsh reality. What followed was not merely a football match, but a comprehensive and brutal demonstration of the performance gap between the 2 sides. Uruguay systematically dismantled Jordan, their every move showcasing a higher level of speed, skill, and tactical understanding. The final score was a staggering 5-0 victory for Uruguay, achieved in the first leg in Amman, in front of a stunned home crowd. The silence that fell over the stadium was deafening. The second leg in Montevideo, a formality at that point, ended in a goalless draw. The aggregate score was 5-0. Uruguay's qualification was confirmed, and Jordan's dream was shattered. Then coach Hossam Hassan, himself a legend of Egyptian football, could only attribute the result to the vast chasm in high-level experience between the 2 squads. His players were talented and full of heart, but Uruguay's stars were hardened by weekly battles in the Champions League and Europe's top divisions. The outcome was not just a sporting loss. It was a widely publicized failure of a national project. This moment represented the termination of Jordan's highest footballing ambition, and it could have easily functioned as a long-term depressant on the nation's sporting morale. Instead, this rock-bottom moment became the baseline, the 0 point from which all future progress would be measured. The decade that followed the 2013 defeat was characterized by a challenging period of strategic rebuilding and deeply inconsistent results. The national team, which had flown so close to the sun, seemed to vanish from the prominent stages of international competition. They failed to reach the final qualification rounds for both the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. For a team and a fan base that had tasted the possibility of greatness, this trajectory felt like a frustrating and definitive step backwards. The momentum was gone, replaced by a sense of stagnation. Behind the scenes, within the Jordan Football Association, a long-term strategy was being formulated. The focus was on the slow, unglamorous work of building for the future. Youth development programs, improving grassroots facilities, and modernizing infrastructure. However, while these seeds were being planted, the senior team on the pitch lacked a consistent identity. A revolving door of coaching changes meant there was no tactical cohesion, no established style of play. The team was generally perceived as a mid-tier competitor in Asia, tough, resilient, and capable of an occasional upset, but not considered a serious contender against the continent's elite powerhouses like Japan, South Korea, or Australia. Then, a significant variable was introduced. In June 2023, the Federation appointed Moroccan manager Hussein Amouyouda. His tenure began in the worst possible way. The team registered no wins in his first 7 matches, a string of poor results that led to a storm of public criticism and widespread calls for his immediate dismissal. The pressure was immense. In the cutthroat world of international football, such a start would typically spell the end for any manager. However, the federation made a courageous and pivotal decision. They maintained his contract, demonstrating a rare faith in the long-term process they had initiated. Amuda's objective went beyond formations and set pieces. He was tasked with instilling a new tactical discipline, but more critically, with completely overhauling the team's psychological posture. He was determined to shift their mentality from that of a hopeful underdog, happy to simply participate, to that of a proactive and fearless competitor, capable of imposing its will on any opponent. This strategic and psychological gamble would prove to be the most important decision in modern Jordanian football history. The 2023 AFC Asian Cup, hosted in Qatar in early 2024, was the first major tournament where the results of this new strategy became evident for all to see. Jordan's journey began unremarkably. They navigated the group stage not with a roar, but with a whisper, advancing to the knockout rounds as one of the best third-place teams. But once the do-or-die matches began, Jordan's performance model shifted dramatically. In the round of 16, they faced a strong Iraqi side. With the clock ticking down, Jordan was trailing late in the match, on the verge of a familiar and respectable exit. But then, something extraordinary happened. In the breathless final moments of stoppage time, they scored not one, but two stunning goals, snatching a 3-2 victory from the jaws of defeat. It was a moment of pure pandemonium and a clear sign that this was a different Jordanian team. Following a professional 1-0 quarterfinal win over Tajikistan, Jordan was set to face South Korea in the semifinals. This was a true Goliath, a team packed with European stars, led by the world-class Son Heung-min of Tottenham Hotspur, and considered a heavy favorite to win the entire tournament. On February 6, 2024, Jordan produced its most significant and dominant performance to date. In a tactical masterclass, the team demonstrated superior execution, relentless pressing, and complete control of the game's tempo. The 2-0 victory, secured by brilliant goals from Yazan Al-Nemat and the nation's star player, Musa Al-Tamari, didn't flatter them. It was thoroughly deserved. An analysis of the match data provides a clear and stunning illustration of this tactical success. South Korea, a team renowned for its attacking prowess, registered 0 shots on target for the entire match. This single statistic speaks volumes. It indicates a comprehensive defensive and strategic dominance, not merely a fortunate result. Although Jordan would go on to lose the final 3-1 to the host nation, Qatar, simply reaching that stage represented a fundamental and irreversible shift in their competitive standing. The painful narrative of the 2013 humiliation was effectively and permanently replaced by a new story of triumph and belief. The team's heroic performance at the Asian Cup was subsequently and skillfully leveraged as an instrument of state policy and national branding. The Jordanian government and monarchy, led by King Abdullah II, identified the team's exhilarating run as a powerful, unifying narrative in a region often facing complex economic and political pressures. The joy and pride sparked by Al-Nashama's success transcended social and economic divides, offering a rare moment of collective celebration for the entire nation. This recognition was quickly followed by direct and substantial financial intervention. King Abdullah II, a noted and passionate supporter of the team, directed a sum of 1 million Jordanian dinars, approximately $1.4 million, in funding to the Jordan Football Association. This injection of capital was specifically intended to sustain the team's upward trajectory, ensuring the progress they had made was not a one-off event. Furthermore, broader economic policies were enacted to improve the financial ecosystem of the sport. These included new tax exemptions for sponsorships and broadcasting rights, all designed to build a more sustainable and commercially viable model around the team's newfound success. The players, once simply athletes, were now framed as national heroes embodying the Jordanian virtues of resilience, hard work, and perseverance. Their images were everywhere, their stories told and retold. The team transitioned from being a mere sporting entity to what political analysts termed a unifying glue for national identity and pride. This demonstrates a clear and effective case of sport being seamlessly integrated into a broader, state-level strategy to foster unity and project a positive national image, a form of soft power that resonated both at home and abroad. Crucially, the incredible momentum from the Asian Cup was not an anomaly. It was sustained and built upon through subsequent competitions. In the 2025 FIFA Arab Cup, Jordan once again proved their new elite status, advancing through the tournament unbeaten before losing a narrow, hard-fought 3-2 final to a very strong Moroccan side. This performance further solidified their reputation as a continental powerhouse. In June 2024, following the Asian Cup success, Hussein Amoyuda departed for family reasons, his legacy secure. To ensure strategic continuity, the federation appointed another proven Moroccan coach, Jamal Salami, to build upon the foundation that had been laid. In a move that signaled his vital role in the national project, King Abdullah II granted Salami Jordanian citizenship in December 2025, following the team's inspiring run in the Arab Cup. The primary objective then became the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualification cycle. The 2013 campaign, the story's starting point, had ended in a 5-0 aggregate loss at the final hurdle. The new campaign would have a different ending. In contrast to the past, Jordan navigated the grueling stages of Asian qualification with a newfound confidence and tactical maturity. Then, in June 2025, the moment that had seemed so impossibly distant over a decade earlier finally arrived. With a commanding 3-0 victory over Oman, Jordan officially secured its place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, qualifying for the tournament for the first time in the nation's history. The ultimate goal, once a remote and painful possibility, was now a measurable and historic achievement. The ghosts of 2013 were not just exorcised, they were vanquished by the scale of this triumph. In conclusion, the trajectory of Jordan's national team from 2013 to the present serves as a powerful and inspiring case study in strategic resilience. The crushing 5-0 defeat to Uruguay, a moment that could have shattered a nation's sporting ambitions for a generation, instead functioned as the necessary catalyst for deep institutional reform and a long-term strategic shift. It was not a permanent setback, but a painful beginning. The breakthrough at the 2023 AFC Asian Cup was the spectacular result of this sustained, decade-long process of investment, patience, and tactical realignment. The subsequent leveraging of the team's success by the state demonstrates the powerful intersection of sport, national identity, and political strategy. And finally, the historic qualification for the 2026 World Cup served as the ultimate validation of the entire project. The journey from a significant failure to a position of continental strength and global recognition illustrates how a sporting narrative can be repurposed into a powerful symbol of a nation's intended character. This case shows how, with a clear strategy, unwavering belief, and the courage to learn from failure, a substantial loss can be systematically and triumphantly converted into a nation's greatest net gain. If you like this story, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to receive notifications when another video is available. See you in a few days. Thanks for watching.